WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Skins. It's bowling with a whole new twist as New England's best bowlers battle for cash prizes in every box. Candlepin Skins is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to the Londonderry Bowling Center here in Londonderry, New Hampshire. Another edition of Candlepin Skins. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. So glad you could spend part of your weekend with us. And last week, in case you missed it, two of our veterans here on the Winds of New England, guys who've been on many, many times over the years, Joe Ashline and Gary Carrington, both knocked off. Paul St. Pierre, another guy who's been here a lot, will be returning today, and so will Jason Leach, who was our #1 overall winner last week.
That's a great story. First time on, and he just bowled terrific. 284 for the two-game total, and he was just on fire all day long. He led almost from start to finish.
So Jason and Paul are back to try and make it 2 weeks in a row, and they will be joined by Rich Lotti from Stoneham, Massachusetts, and Tom Tamagna from Somerville, Massachusetts. That's our lineup today here on Candlepin Skins. Dan and I will be back, and we will have the first of our two-game match right after these messages. Don't go away. Here we go, Tom Tamagna and Rich Lotti up on the line to start us off here on Candlepin Skins. Tom Tamagna making his very first appearance with us. Rich Lotti has been here several times previously.
Yeah, in fact, he had a big streak there last time he was with us.
That's correct.
A long one. Tom just sliding by on the left.
And Rich
nice spare.
Converts the spare. Tom will take an 8. So the spare for Rich Lotti leads for the skin.
Last week's hero, lane 30. He threw some strikes last week.
Jason Leach, he'll have a spare leave to start this game. Now Paul St. Pierre, a little full, punching through the center. Jason with the spare. And Jason creates the carryover. Paul will take a 7. So box number 2 will now be worth $20. Half Worcester for Rich on his spare. Tom Tamagna looking for his first mark. That streak last time for Rich Lotti, just about a year ago at this time. In fact, 9 straight weeks he was here before he was finally knocked off. Tom Tamagna takes a 9. Rich with a 9 also, but of course he had just the 2 fill on the spare, so 21 through 2.
This is for a 10.
No marks up there here in the second. And going to be a couple of difficult shots here. We could have a carryover with 9s here, Dan. Well, Paul didn't like that ball off target. And Jason was off target too. 9s are...
I was going to say, these guys are going to be a little upset with you, thinking, oh, the 9s after they threw one ball, but I guess you know.
There's another 9. And that will do it. 9s carry it over.
I'll never second guess you again.
So box number 3 will be worth $30. Tom with the half Worcester. Rich Lotti was a little high, but didn't turn out too badly. He may have a shot at this. See what Tom does on the half Worcester. See what Rich Lotti can do here on the 3, 4, and 6.
No, he tried. He had to have a piece of that 3-pin and the wood. Tom works out with a 9.5.
And a 9 for Rich Lotti. Here we go again.
Now, what did you say last time?
Well, I'm not going to make any predictions before they throw a ball. Now, that would be just silly.
Well, I'll go out on a limb and say there will be no carryover this time with this 9s. Thank you, Jason.
Triangle leave for Jason Leach. Oh, Paul St. Pierre punches through the middle. Well, who knows? Oh, great attempt by Paul. Well, remember now, a single 10 would win the skin, or we could have a carryover with 10s. Here's one of them. And Paul misses his, so it's a $30 skin on a 10 box for Jason Leach. So he'll steal that one and get ready for the 4th box. Rich Lotti will have a spare leave.
And that being the 3 and 5 with a piece of wood in front. Tom puts one right in the middle there and right in the pocket, leaves just the 6-pin.
Rich for his spare? Yes. Tom for his spare? Yes. Spares for Tom Tamagna and Rich Lotti. $15 4th box here. Paul St. Pierre looking for his first mark of the day. Oh, he's right in the pocket solid there, and not much to show for it.
Can't kick that 10-pin out of there.
2 tough splits here. The 5, 8, and 10 for Paul St. Pierre.
Tries the wood to the left. Nothing happening.
Now the 3, 4, and 6 for Tom, or rather for Jason, and nothing going on there. So the carryovers with the spares for Rich and Tom. A couple of 9 boxes for Jason and Paul. And we've got a very close start here. We also have a carryover into box number 5, which is now worth $30. Tom Tamagna from Somerville, Massachusetts.
Starting to find the range. It's 5 on his spare.
Big pocket hit. Rich Lotti touches them all. Strike on spare. And the 9 for Tom. 50 through 5, but here's the ball Rich Lotti threw. Looked like it was a little heavy on the Brooklyn side.
It did. Well, so we need to strike to create the carryover.
Give the skin to Rich Lotti, $30. Oh, great shot. First mark of the day for Paul St. Pierre, and it was a beauty. Fine shot. 9 for Jason Leach. That'll take us to the break, and we'll take another look. Terrific pocket hit. That's probably a strike ball if you throw it on the first ball. Good for a very good-looking spare for Paul St. Pierre, his first mark of the day, and very close as we're underway here on Candlepin Skins. Rich Lotti and Tom Tamagna will resume action here in game one. Rich Lotti working on a strike. Little high again, but he breaks it up pretty well.
So Rich was working on a strike, and Tom almost gets his own strike.
The 310. Nope, misfired. And another single pin for a spare for Tom Tamagna, his second. 10 box for Rich. Rich Lotti has the lead in total pinfall, 79 through 6. St. Pierre throws a pretty good-looking ball, and what kind of a result is that? Jason Leach bidding, not getting the strike. Going to have a pin removed on lane 29 before he'll give Paul St. Pierre a little more time to figure out his shot here, the 5, 7, and 10. Yes. For the spare? No.
I was afraid of capping that wood.
And that gives Tom Tamagna his first skin of the day. Tom takes the $15 skin here in the 6th. And Tom now set to fill that spare. Tom seems to have loosened up a little bit, throwing the ball a little harder.
A little harder, I noticed that, yeah. So you got to be a little aggressive out there. You can't be too gun shy.
Going for his second mark in a row? No. Rich Lotti almost flew the head pin right over the top. Tom takes 9. And so does Rich. $25 skin here in the 7th. 9s are up there.
Ooh, good looking ball in the 1-2 pocket, but leaves himself the 5, 7, 8, 9.
Now Paul St. Pierre. He was also full. Oh, another one of those situations here, Dan. 9s are up there.
Well, I think Paul might cut this over for a spare. Almost.
Well,
there's
there's a 10. Will win the skin unless Paul can match it. And he does this time. Missed an opportunity to do that earlier. This time he makes sure that the carryover is in effect. So box number 8 will be worth $50 now. Rich Lotti.
No, that ball was right in the pocket.
Wow, looked like the wood kind of converging there might have cost him a strike. For the spare. Rich has it. His 4th mark. He is still in the lead overall. And Tom Tamagna has a spare. His 3rd. There's Tom Tamagna's shot, carrying the 9 pin in the back.
Well, it's going to take a strike now. Not for Paul. Jason.
A $50 strike for Jason Leach. Paul St. Pierre takes 8. Paul, the only one without a mark in the 8th, and here's the big one that won the skin. Brooklyn side. Tom on a spare. And he will take 9.
Just catches the head pin. Real light hit, but good pin mixing down the other end and leaves himself just a 7 pin.
And a pretty good mix for Rich, too, but he does not carry the extra pin. He'll take 8. Tom gets his spare. And Rich does not. Wow. He will take the 10, though. 116 through 9 for Rich Lotti. And now Jason Leach on a strike. He threw 5 strikes last week, including 1 in overtime to win our last skin.
I was going to say, this is about the place he threw a double last week and almost does the same thing. Oh, Paul St. Pierre cannot get them together. 4-6, 4-7, 6-10.
That's a carryover there on the spare for Jason Leach. Spare on strike. So the 10th box in this first game will now be worth $75. And the scores are tightening up. Oh my. Well, Rich gets the 5 pin out of there.
Yeah, he gets a break.
6 on the fill for Tom Tamagna. Well, let's see if Rich can work some magic with this wood. Not quite.
Not all he could do.
Tom for 3 in a row? No. Rich with a 10, a 126, and that may be good enough for the lead. After 1, there's the shot Tom wanted. He will take a 121 opening game. And you see Jason working on a spare in the 9th. He has a chance for the overall lead if he were to put up another one. Paul St. Pierre looking for his second mark of the day, and he'll have a single pin to shoot at. Jason Leach puts up 8 on his spare. Before we go any further, that piece of wood for Paul St. Pierre will have to be checked, and obviously he is rooting for it to be out of play. The bad news is it is in play. Right in front of the 6 pin. Make it the 4 pin.
And just going to have to shoot for the end of it. No.
Nope.
We already have a carryover with the 2 10s. Jason would need this.
Oh, he got it. $75 skin for Jason Leach as he continues to bowl very, very well. 96 for Paul St. Pierre, and now Jason Leach can fill his spare. If he throws a strike, he'll have the lead in the match, and it'll be a 9 drop. So Jason Leach and Rich Lotti with 126 in that opening game. Tom Tamagna, 121. Jason Leach making himself some cash, too. $155 in skins in that first game. We'll be back with more in a minute. Well, Jason Leach off to another big start. $155, 7 skins already in that opening game, 7 out of the 10. Rich Lotti and Tom Tamagna have checked in as well on the winnings tote board. Paul St. Pierre looking to get on the board as well here in the second game. Still anybody's game here with a 2-way tie for first, and then Tom Tamagna just 5 pins behind. Tom starting game 2, and he'll shoot at the 4 horsemen.
Just sliding by to the right, leaves the head pin.
And it'll be a 10 for Tom. Now Rich Lotti from Stoneham, Mass. Rich works as a 4-minute Carlisle Syntech. Mentioned just about a year ago it was that he had a 9-match streak here. Was with us for 9 weeks in a row here on Candlepin Skins, which is the all-time record.
Oh, wow. Here's a good example of the wood costing you a shot. Deflected the ball way to the right, missed the 6-spin entirely. Tough break there for Rich Lotti.
He matches Tom's 10, and that will bring Jason Leach up to the line.
The way Jason's been bowling, 10s are not going to cut it.
Yeah, he's got a spare leave here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I said.
Perfect.
See if Paul can get straightened away here. This is to the left, 4 horsemen to the right. 1, 3, 6, and 10.
Yes, for the spare, and that creates a carryover. And for Paul St. Pierre, just his second mark of the day. Just coming back to get the 10-pin. Tom Tamagna. No. Six for Tom. Again, the cumulative 2-game total scores are at the bottom of the screen so that you can keep track of how the bowlers are doing relative to each other. Rich Lotti punches through the center. And it's a 9. 9 leads for the Skin right now. Jason and Paul working on marks. Jason Leach first. Right in the pocket again. He hasn't missed the head pin much.
No, he hasn't. That's, again, that's why you bowl so well, is that you're on the head pin, gives you more to shoot at. That was a little light. Left the cluster of 5 in the left-hand corner.
How about the 2 games last week and the first game here today? Jason's first 3 games on television, he rolled a 4-10. Not too bad.
Disappointing 7 there. So 9 leads, Paul.
Paul's working on a spare. Chance for him to gain some ground here. With the other 3 guys throwing open boxes. Paul with a big 8 drop. Now the question is, what will he be able to do with this?
I think he has to play the wood next to the channel there, right on the red line. Have that come off the wall, and in the meantime, the ball sent over towards the 7-pin.
Let's see if it works.
Oh,
oh, he played the wood right in front. How about that shot? Actually, got the wood behind at the same time with the 6-pin.
shall we ask him, or
Whew, what a shot.
was that in the blueprint? He's smiling down there. I don't know.
It's worth $20. $20 Skin for Paul St. Pierre. And first Skins money of the day for Paul. And Tom takes 9.
Had a couple shots at that 9-pin, back and forth with a piece of wood.
A $10 skin here in the third box. Rich Lotti will have a split.
6-10 on the right with a 4-pin on the left. Got a shot. Oh, just barely missed that 3-pin.
Had 2 shots at it. He spun that wood up between, but it didn't hit anything. So a 9. 9, the magic number again here in the third box so far. Tell you what, if Paul St. Pierre were to put another mark up here in the third, things would get very, very tight. Jason Leach with a spare. Great shot. Taking the outside route. Paul left with the diamond.
Needs this to carry the skin over, but more importantly, to keep marking, get back into that total pinfall race. Oh,
no.
Right.
So give the skin for $10 to Jason Leach. Puts Jason at $165 today. He won $195 last week. Tom Tamagna looking for his first mark of the second game, as is Rich Lotti. Tom with the 2, 4, and 6.
Sounds pretty easy. Unfortunately, the 2 pins on the left and 1 on the right. Tries for the 6-pin in the wood.
Might not have been a bad idea.
No. Possibilities there.
Now he goes the other way to make sure he gets 2 for the 9 box. Tomorrow at noon here on the Winds of New England, it is championship week on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. And how about this matchup? Paul Berger and Tim Lipke. Tim Lipke, the number 1 seed, Paul Berger, the number 2. That'll be tomorrow at noon on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, right here on the Winds of New England. And Rich Lotti does it gently, but knocks down the 10-pin for the spare. His first mark in this game. Oh, Jason Leach almost going strike on spare. But he'll put the mark up there, matching Rich's spare.
He's in cruise control right now again, just like last week. Just very quietly, and it's up there and does the job. Big strike.
That is a big shot for Paul St. Pierre. He'd had only 3 marks up to that point. He wins the skin, of course, with the strike, $15. But more importantly, he's still trying to come from behind. And that will help.
Well, he follows Jason. If he can just try to look at Jason and try to catch Jason, I think he'll pass a couple of the others. Jason seems to be the one to beat. He's the hot bowler last week and again this week so far.
Well, Tom has pins rocking here, and he also has wood. Let's see if it'll work for him.
Yes, it does. Nice shot.
Spare in the 5th. Worth $15 to the bowler who wins the skin, if it is one here in the 5th. Rich Lotti on his spare drops 9.
Let's be careful of this wood.
Let's see. That was the problem. Rich knew it. And it's still there for $9. That spare that Jason Leach put up a moment ago, Dan, was his first 9-pin drop of the day.
This to go 3 marks in a row, create a carryover, add to his lead. What else can he do? Can he do with his shot? Whoa,
No.
He can pick out the 6-pin and leave the 10. That's a break for everyone but Jason. Trying to catch him for that total pinfall. Well, spare is up there. Paul's thinking if I throw a strike, not only do I win the skin, but I'm back in the match. Working on a strike.
Goes Brooklyn side. Look out! Oh, my. Almost. He'll put the spare up in the 5th. That creates the carryover. Paul St. Pierre continuing to work hard, trying to come from behind here in Game 2. The 6th box will be worth $30 when we come back here on Candlepin Skins. Well, as we go to the final 5 boxes here on Candlepin Skins, the 2 guys who are in 3rd and 4th place are the 2 guys working on marks. So that should tighten up the scores even further. Tom Tamagna fills his mark with 7.
Tough leave, though, the 1, 2, and 10, and he's not going to get much help from any piece of wood, I don't believe. Ooh, good try.
And it'll be a 9. Rich Lotti has had 2 9 drops in a row. How about 3 in a row?
Kick that 10-pin on, otherwise he's looking at the 7-10.
Watch out. Well, we may have to check that one. That looked very, very close.
Okay, we're going to check it. Rich wasn't sure, so I think it's no good. I'm going to put a 9 up. I think the wouldn't move first, but we can check it.
I tend to think you're right. We will take a break after this box so that we can review it. That way we will be able to, after we finish play here at the 6th box, we will take a break and review it, and that way we'll be able to come back and tell you exactly where the scores are. But I think you're right, Dan. There's a 10 box for Jason Leach, and 10 leads for the skin right now, provided that was not a spare for Rich Lotti. Paul St. Pierre working on a spare and carrying 6. Paul puts the 8 up there, and we will take a quick break and check the replay and show it to you when we come back here on Candlepin Skins. Don't go away. All right, let's go back to the 6th box here, and Rich Lotti's 7-pin for a spare with that wood in the channel, Dan.
Okay, if it hits the wood first, it is no good. However, simultaneously the wood and the pen, it's good. And it's so close to call, I'd say that's a tie, and we're going to give him the spare.
So that means a $30 skin for Rich Lotti with the spare in the 6th, and that could be important in terms of total pinfall, obviously, which is why we wanted to take the time to check it out. So we move now to the 7th box, which is worth $25, and Tom Tamagna will shoot first.
Come on, go get it. Shoot this one.
Oh, good looking attempt there on the spare.
The operative rule there, in case those of you at home are wondering, is that we would not be able to take it away unless it were clear that
yes,
that it was an illegal shot, and certainly that was not the case there.
I mean, the rule is simultaneously wood and pin, it's good. But our own house rule, TV rule, is that we can't discern one way or the other, then it's going to be good. It's in favor of the bowler. But for us, that was a tie.
Oh, how about this? Rich Lotti, another 9-drop. That's 4 9-drops in a row for Rich Lotti.
Rich, do me a favor. Keep this ball in the lane.
Oh, he does. No dispute on that one. Well, of course, the big news for Rich there, Dan, is he's had 4 9-drops in a row, but he missed one of them because of an unfavorable piece of wood.
It took so long for the replay. Paul was going to go up before Jason. He's been sitting down too long.
Oh, Jason groaned as he let that one go. Probably hurt him. Well, that is going to enable Rich Lotti probably to take over the pinfall lead with his spare fill the next time he comes up. As you see, he'll only need 6 pins to take over the lead. Make it 5 pins.
Paul just missing the head pin to the right. 4 horsemen plus a 6, 9, 10.
Give another skin to Rich Lotti on the spare in the 7th, worth $25. And Paul St. Pierre takes an 8. Paul and Tom with some work to do to catch either Rich or Jason. $25 skin here in the 8th. Half Worcester.
Let's go.
Tom Tamagna from Somerville. Tom and his wife Karen have a 7-month-old son, Anthony. They're both here. Karen and Anthony. Tom works for himself, self-employed as an electrical contractor. And he'll take an 8-box in the 8th. Rich Lotti on a spare and with a chance to take the overall lead. And he does. Just by 2 pins. Ends his streak of 4 straight 9-drops, too. $9, 100 through 8 for Rich. So a chance here for Jason with the open frame. You see, even just a $10 would leave Jason only 1 pin behind. And he's going to have a spare leave.
Go get it. Eat it up. It's away.
Spare in the 8th. That leads for the skin. Of course, it's becoming more and more obvious here, Dan, that it's becoming 1 and 2. It'll be immaterial before too long between Jason and Rich, as they look to be the favorites to be returning unless either Paul or Tom can catch fire here.
They're already in the 8th frame. It has to be now, I believe. Good effort there by Paul, but it's not going to happen for him.
$8. Spare wins the skin for Jason. He adds another 25 onto his total. He now has $190 on the day. The 9th box will also be worth $25. Tom back on the head pin, but didn't get much of a mix there. 3, 4, and 6. And a $10. Rich Lotti in the lead, at least for the moment. The 1, 4, 7, 9, and 10 with no wood. Oh, how about that for $10? Wow. Great shot. 4, 7, and 10. On a spare, Jason Leach. Drops 8.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
And he's got a piece of wood in front that may have to be checked. That may be in play. Let's see. Be close. Out of play. Rules Tanya Murphy, who's handling the big scoreboard and the deadwood for us here at the Londonderry Bowling Center. And Jason converts easily for the spare. And Jason is well on his way here to another pinfall victory here on Candlepin Skins.
Come on, make one. This goes. Do it!
Oh, how about it? Almost for a carryover for Paul St. Pierre. But give another $25 skin to Jason Leach. And how about the chance for Paul St. Pierre on the spread eagle? Wow.
Just needed something to come back after that 2-pin.
Last skin of the day will be worth $50, and we already know pretty much who our returning bowlers are going to be. It's going to be Jason Leach and Rich Lotti returning next week.
Seven, 8, and 10 for Tom. Piece of wood in between there, but not much you can do with that.
So Tom wraps up his regulation efforts for the day with a 9 and 95 and a 2-game total of 216. Tom will be hoping for now is a carryover to get him into the, or keep him in this last skin here. Now Rich has possibilities here. 3, 7, 9, and 10 with wood scattered everywhere.
Oh boy.
Nope.
No, I'd get the 10. You never know.
Ooh, slid by. It'll be a 9. 119 for Rich. 2-game total 245. But he's safely through. Doesn't have to worry. Paul St. Pierre can't catch him. Jason Leach almost steals that last skin with another strike. He could still get it with a spare.
He's going to negotiate that wood. Try to get by it or hit it high. What's he going to do? He's going to come up high on it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
3 marks in a row.
136 in a ball. He's going to be over 280 again.
Give him the money.
No, he won't. What am I talking about? I'm adding the bottom total pinfall onto his score.
He is going to be the overall winner again, though. I can tell you that. A 142 and a 268 for Jason Leach.
Well, that's pretty good, too, you know.
Come on, Paul, let's go. Get up there. Get one.
And Jason will win that last skin unless Paul St. Pierre can
Get it. All right.
have the box here with a spare.
Well, he certainly got an opportunity to. Oh, boy.
No. So give that final skin to Jason Leach as he just cleans up in skins prize money today and wins his second consecutive week in total pinfall, 124 for Paul St. Pierre. So Jason Leach and Rich Lotti will be returning next week. We'll tell you a little bit more about that and go over the prize money winnings when we return on Candlepin Skins. And welcome back. Candlepin Skins in the books again, and once again in the books, another terrific performance by Jason Leach as he has come on here, his first 2 appearances on television in the last 2 weeks, and he has just smoked the field.
He's on a roll, no pun involved, but he's just been bowling super, and it's a great story. First time with us, and looks like he's been with us hundreds of times the way he's been bowling.
All right, let's check the scores. Jason Leach right on the top again with a 268. He had a 284 last week. He wins the overall pinfall again. This time, Rich Lotti finishes second, so Rich will be back with us next week. Paul St. Pierre and Tom Tamagna will have to come back and try again another time. So Jason Leach and Rich Lotti, the 2 big winners in pinfall, and they are also the 2 big winners in skins prize money. Look at Jason's damage today, $265. He had $195 last week, so he has, as Dan mentioned, on a roll. And we'll go into next week's match. He and Rich will be joined by Alex Pendleton and Sean McKinley.
That should be a great one, too. Both bowlers been here before. Should be a lot of fun.
All right, don't forget, tomorrow it's championship week here on Stars and Strikes over at the Park Place Lanes in Wyndham, as we will have our championship match between Tim Lipke and Paul Berger. You'll want to be sure and tune in for that one. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole Winds of New England crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a great weekend, everybody.